I just finished speaking to a group of women for an organization called Forum for Executive Women. And when I finished my presentation during a Q&A, someone raised their hand and said, "What are your thoughts on forgiveness in the workplace? If you make a mistake, can you be forgiven?" So, short answer, yes and. And here's what I mean by yes and. I do think that people can forgive you. However, my 20 years of speaking and facilitating and conducting workshops across the country, let's explore this topic quickly. And I'm going to wrap up with what I call the 4 A's. I write about this in my book, Leading with Greatness. The 4 A's to rebuilding trust. But I do want you to think about this. We are human beings. Sometimes we get in our feelings. We do not practice emotional intelligence, which means that we get swept away. Daniel Goleman talks about this in his breakthrough book, Emotional Intelligence. He talks about people getting engulfed and then they get swept away. So sometimes our emotions do get the best of us. If you look the word up, emotions, the etymology, emotions means to move away or the moving away of. So when we practice emotional intelligence, we learn how to regulate and we learn how to pause and slow down and to practice the age-old adage, think before you speak. For some individuals, there's a short distance between their thoughts and what comes out of their mouth. And my mother used to always tell me when I was growing up, JD, learn how to think before you speak and how to process, how to slow down and how to evaluate. But for some individuals, we get so caught up and we get so moved that we get swept away and then the damage is done. So here's what I want you to think about. How big was the offense that you made? If it's a huge offense, if it was really egregious, if it was a really painful insult, for some people, there is no forgiveness. However, I believe in hope and optimism. I also believe in reality. So I want to give you some tips. So here's what I say. If you're going to reestablish trust, cultivate trust, practice the 4 A's. Number 1, no rebuilding occurs in the trust building process if you're not aware of what you've done. Awareness says that you are conscientious. Your mistakes are known to you. Now, sometimes people start to get defensive. They don't listen and they start to protect themselves. You can never reestablish trust if you're not aware of what you've done to the full magnitude. So here's what I write. We need to be aware of the impact of our words and behaviors and how other people experience them. Sometimes people don't care that you had a good intent. People are concerned about the impact. Right, wrong, or indifference, I'm giving you context. So words matter. So this whole garbage about sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. Words hurt. Words can be very impactful. I had a roommate in college who would always say, words are like elevators. They either take you up or they take you down. What do your words and behaviors do in your relationship? So you have to become aware. And how do you become aware? Through listening to other people's story, the pain, through reflection, getting feedback. Number 2 is acknowledgement. Sometimes our egos and our stubbornness, and we can rationalize things so well that we are aware of what we've done, but we want to allow ourselves to acknowledge. Acknowledge means to own it, validate, verify. Yes, I was wrong. I lied. I wasn't forthright. I hurt your feelings. So acknowledgement is a step further because you can't be aware and never acknowledge because of various barriers, self-imposed barriers that you allow to get in your way of reestablishing and recultivating trust. Number 3, apologize. This is the expression. And this goes deeper than acknowledgement. Expressing what you've done. Like, lean into where you made a mistake. Hey, I promised you that I will have things back June 16th. I dropped the ball professionally. I didn't follow up. I didn't deliver on what I stated. I made the project late. Own it. That's what I say an apology is. So you express that. Sometimes people want to skate past this. You cannot skate past this, my friend. Now, I'm a communications professor. If you are going to reestablish, if I'm going to reestablish, sometimes it's tough. Sometimes we are embarrassed. We don't like what we've done. I've been there. I'll make more mistakes. But you have to apologize. And apologize in a way that that person registers that apology as authentic. Which takes us into the fourth A. You have to ask, how do I right my wrongs from your perspective? My favorite way of teaching this is I learned this from Dr. Stephen R. Covey. You cannot talk your way out of a mess you behaved your way into. You cannot talk your way out of a mess you behave your way into. If you're going to right that wrong, the number one thing I'll tell you is to let your audio match your video. And my mother taught me that. Carolyn Charmaine Davis. She would always say, baby, JD, make sure your audio matches your video. And it's similar to what Dr. Covey is saying. If you want to show people that you're truly sorry, it's a change in behaviors. Your actions shift. My actions have to shift. If not, then the other old adage comes into play. Talk is cheap. Forgiveness, how long does it take? I cannot measure that. But I can tell you how to get the process started. So let me recap. Number 1, awareness. Number 2, acknowledgement. Number 3, apologize. Number 4, ask. It's a collaborative effort. Collaborative effort. I know this is a longer video, but I wanted to share this. And guess what? Now I'm about to go into the dermatologist with my son. He's going to be showing up in a minute. All right, peace out. Got to get in here. You can rebuild trust, but do it authentically. Peace.